Right, we're back with MDG, Micro Design Games, MacArthur's War. Let's see, it doesn't say it there. Gary Anderson, MDG Games, MDG. Um, and we are now in the, we're moving into the October turn, UN. A little summary, the North Koreans got way down here, almost made it. 2 turns they almost sealed off the whole South Korean army, but in each case they didn't succeed, and the UN in the form of the US reinforced just barely in time, and also planted some units here. They could pull off this mini, um, I called it mini Incheon. You do see here that these units now are trying to exfiltrate. They were cut off, but now they're open. Reinforcements coming down. Going to try and stop things here. So interesting decisions here for the UN player. I mean, the first one is, do they want to escalate? And I'd probably say at this point, we'll see in the phase, they really don't need to. From a victory point of view, point of view, there are, let's see, they haven't taken this, so there's 1 point left here. And that's 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 victory points left. And they've burned, they're in the -2 with the 5 victory points. So doing the maths, there's, if they get those 5 victory points and therefore own all of South Korea, unless the communist escalates, that's the end of the game. And those 5 will get them to +3. So I'm doing this math to say they have 2 victory points they could spend this turn. That's how you get stuff. So that's a consideration. They could probably attack here, pocket these guys, and reduce them. But if that happens, more reinforcements will come down, and they can start blocking off here. They do have a marine unit primed for an invasion if the weather cooperates that they could use. In hindsight, maybe, well, now based on the VP calculation, yeah, it costs 2 VPs to activate this last marine division. Maybe should have done that last turn. But hindsight is 2020. They can do it this turn. The current escalation level, they can't get any of these units yet. The US units and then the National Guard units, they aren't available. So with that being said, a little intro there, let's go ahead and proceed with the turn. And here's the weather phase. Now what's big about the roll here? Well, if the weather is good, they can do invasions and have 2 air power points. And if the weather is bad, they can't have invasions, rain, and they start losing air points. Half air points, and they have 2 right now. So let's go ahead and pull up the game charts. And just to show you, we are at police action. So they do get 2 air points. All the Far East divisions are mobilized. 1 Marine division is available. I don't know if I want to use a victory point for a UN division at this point. And the North Koreans can start mobilizing armies of Chinese on their side of the border. So if it does escalate here, then the Chinese can cross the border. We'll see what happens. So the weather phase, though, is the key. Will they be able to conduct an invasion? And we're in October, and it's a 50-50 chance. 1 to 3, you can still invade, but if you do get overcast, we're probably going to lose an air point. We will lose an air point unless they get totally lucky and roll a 1. The best of all worlds, and we'll see how that goes. So here we go. Moment of truth. Survey says 5. No invasion. It's raining. Oh my. Half MA. Let's look at this here. Air points are 1/2, so instead of 2, they get 1. And everybody's. Oh my. This roll changes everything. Kind of hoping. Well, that's Korea for you. Oh, that's major. That is major. So now they only have one air point. 7th Fleet's still there. And all their units have half movement factors. So I was tempted to do some trick. If they had their full movement, I could have done the leaky sock and got up here. I was thinking of doing an invasion here to try and pull off trap all the communists, but now that changes it. Okay. Escalation phase, again, I guess there is no benefit to escalating at this point. Let me take a look at that again. Oops. Wow. That rain messes things up. Welcome to the Korean Peninsula. What would they gain by escalating? Nothing, except the Chinese are in the game. And they can start rushing down the North Korean Peninsula and reinforce them in Seoul even. So no. No escalation. Nope. Not gonna do it. And now it's the reinforcement plays. Replacement points. Shouldn't have hidden that so fast. And how many replacements? The ROC get 1, not 2 because they don't have the capital, and the US gets 1. So I was thinking to do this guy. This is the big attack though, but he's the only one who can get on him. Oh, but I could land the Marines with that weather change. Maybe I should just give up on the prospect of doing an invasion. So at least from, or I could, no, we're gonna, let's see, that's 6-8 is where, oh, there we go. This is the one I want to reinforce. If the 6-8 is who I'm going to attack. And he's in range of 7th Fleet, so I'll get a shift there. Maybe not use the air point. Actually, since supply is judged at the moment of contact, it would be probably best if we could pull off an attack here first, which would then seal off the peninsula again, and these guys would all be half defense. So at this point, since there's rain, no big, no invasion, no big North Korean stunt here. It's time to start slogging up the peninsula. Alright, so that's that replacement. And then, there's a 2. Well, South Koreans are going to bring this guy up to full strength. Okay, so that's done. And the question is mobilization now. We move into the strategic movement phase. Well, or I can spend VPs. So I'm going to live on the edge here, spend 2 VPs. There's still 5 left, so they can win if South Korea stays the scope. And we're gonna take this guy and move him to Korea. I'm pretty sure he can't land this turn. I'll check the rules on that, but this guy can land if I want. And they can always invade if they're sitting on a port. Actually, that's something to keep in mind. So we'll check that, and that's 2 VPs. And that's about that for that. UN player moves units on the strategic bay on the game map using sea movement. Well, let me check the rules and see if they're landing in a port. They could be used. Okay, so if we look at this, during the strategic movement phase, units may conduct one of the following. Move on the strategic display from one area to an adjacent area. So this whole discussion is irrelevant. This unit started in the Atlantic. Wait, not this guy. Let's get it right. As if it matters, but he has to move first. Yep, one area, so it's going to take a while to get this guy over here, actually. But this guy will land here. Okay. And I'm actually going to put the 7th Fleet. I'm going to make this a coastal hex. And that allows him now to bombard these 2 units. That's helpful. Hopefully I did that right. If not, a little birdie will tell me I didn't. So that guy lands there. He's not going to be able, and then this actually, wow, it's going to take 1, 2, 3 turns before he can be in play. Or he can just stay at sea as an invasion risk in case this guy gets too far inland. There is one thing with strategic movement. Units that conduct strategic movement may not move in the following movement phase. So this guy can't move. But I'm going to assume he can attack. So I will use him in the attack. Yeah, if possible. Alright, so that, and let's go to move marker on him, is a strategic movement phase. Now offboard conflicts, no, and we're in the movement phase. Wow, half movement is quite the bummer. At this point, only the Koreans can move, and I don't think I can do anything exciting here with all the mud. Alright, with the mud halving movement factors, there's not many options. This guy will move up here because he wants to get on the other side of the river and support this guy for future attacks. If Seoul gets too strong, we're going to have to flank it. So we better be starting to move this flank up as much as possible. I'm going to shift this guy 1, 2, 3 to not be halved when attacking this guy to help this guy who's going to attack. Well, that's problematic too. This guy could attack him. So 1, 2, yeah, he'll move here. And then these units have to be attacking across the river, which is, I mean, he could. That's moving zone of control. Zone of control can't do that. He'd have to come off at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. With this rough, you can maybe move 2 hexes. I'll just use this guy to do that. Oh, there's a 2-8 there. I forgot that's a cav unit. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't really think there's any advantage into shifting him. These guys are stuck attacking across the river because he can't go here. He could go here, but that's as far as he'd go. Everything else costs too much. And this guy can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but then he's not doing any attack. So because of the mud, we're just all going to stay here. We got 1 air point, which we're going to use on this attack. That's a kind of critical attack because we want to seal this off and put these people out of supply again if possible. And this air point we don't get. 7th Fleet is good. I think that's movement. Alright. So now we move into the combat phase. Let's pull up the chart here. This is the big attack. 10 to 4. It's 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1. 4 to 1 if you look at it, and just to make sure there is no, yeah, in the clear. 4 to 1, worst case is a 6. Anything but a 6. Now that I've said that twice, let's see what the vassal dice does. 4. That's playable. Good, it wasn't a PX. It's a DR, and that's all we really want. DR, all defending units retreat 1 hex. Now, they're probably going to retreat up here. So there are some interesting choices. Let's get this airport unit. If he retreats, he could retreat here, but he'd take a step loss. Could retreat here, but he'd take a step loss. Well, no, that's not. Actually, he could retreat here. But then he'd be in the pocket, even though he'd be reinforcing this unit. Or he could retreat here and make the UN work for getting this port, but then he'd be isolated. Or he could retreat here, and then he could be used with the defense of Seoul. I think he'll go here. Maybe not a good choice, but, and then this guy will go here, which now effectively closes the pocket again, and all these units are at half strength. So then we have a number of attacks moving across here. This one's 3 to 13. I'll use the Marines. Could lose a step. So he's halved on defense, and the Marine unit is attacking. Yeah, not across the river, so that's 4 to 1. 7th Fleet bombardment takes it to bummer. 4 to 1. Not quite what we wanted. And he may survive, retreat here, and leave. Now I could combine these two and make it almost overwhelming. And then focus, and then this guy and this guy. This would be at 2.5, and they would be at 7.5. That would be 3 to 1. Or I could clobber this guy. Well, this guy's going to be clobbered. I mean, maybe in hindsight I should have moved this guy here. Then it would have been 4 to 1. Let's hide pieces. And he's in rough. Wow. So I think this turn we're just going to be attacking this guy and this guy. So we're going to jack the odds up to 23 to 3, which pretty much makes it 8 to 1. Times 3 is 18, yeah. So that's high odds, 8 to 1. And we roll the dice, and we get another 4. And a 4 is DE. That's what we wanted. Boom. And then we can advance after combat. Keep the Marines on the port. Move that guy. Okay, so we are reducing the pocket. We're not going to be able to attack this guy. Instead, we're going to pile on this guy. And we got some rivers over here. So we got 5, 12, 17 to 2, 8 to 1. But, and it's a straight 8 to 1, but they're on rough. Or, yeah, 8 to 1, shift 1 left. It's a 6 to 1. 6 to 1. Here we go. Oh. Well, that's a DR. That's something. Actually, he retreats here. And that has a contested Zoc. And then we'll use this guy to close it. So the spearheads of the North Korean army have been cut off and they're starting to be reduced. Unfortunately, they get 2 replacements a turn. So they're going to start reinforcing here. So they can definitely make it a tough nut to crack here and keep us out of Seoul. So, not what we wanted. If we had clear weather, I was planning on dropping the Marines in Incheon, bringing in the 7th, hopefully doing this. I had a nice move to have the Koreans take advantage of the leaky Zoc and potentially end up with every unit on the peninsula except this one cut off. But instead, General Mudd intervened. So, close that off. Let's look at the sequence of play. Yeah, no atomic end phase. Yeah, well, nobody wants to end the game. That's pretty straightforward. So I would say that is the turn for the UN player. And now it's the North Koreans. And at this point, I think the North Korean goal is hopefully the replacements will start coming in. Maybe I don't know if they're going to start mobilizing Chinese armies in China. But they do have solid defenses here, barring an invasion. But this river, if they can somehow, actually they may want to push this guy back to get this solid river line here. And with Incheon cut off, it's all about Seoul. So, yeah, that's where they want to. Broke the river line here. I don't think they have the horsepower to push these all back, so they may have to just use the ridge, use the mountain here. They may be able to keep this, and then maybe force a stalemate. We'll see. And then maybe somebody will escalate. Alright, great. That's that turn. Thank you for watching. I would say if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, and also press the like button. Otherwise, see you at the next one. Thanks for listening. Quick addendum here. I kind of calculated the turn wrong. Started the first half of June, then we did July and August, so it's really September. So we've corrected that, it's September. Then I went back and verified that the weather roll was a 5. And if you look at September 5, that's still rain. So in the end, the weather's still rain, even though it was September. So this is accurate, what happened. All right, and so that's the end. Thanks.